I'm good on the information. We have to welcome our wonderful guests. We're going to take a small break, or we can go on. Okay. Big Boss said, I can go on, I can go on, I can go on. This is how I have fun, Dr. Naini. That's why I love what I do. Because I can always have fun at the same time, all serious and fun, and giving a lot of news. But today, it's such a pleasure to have you because we had a listener who called yesterday, this wonderful lady who's very concerned about the youth in our community, the youth in society, especially our Haitian youth. And I think I gave her the answer by telling her there's so much to be done, but we also got to think of all the information that we must provide in order to help the community.
Of course.
And we have to pull out all the resources that can help from the beginning in order for us to provide this help. It's not when the crisis hit, that's when we're going to try to fix only. Before the crisis, we have to give out what's necessary, all the tools that can be used. And I think I'll continue giving her more answers as I go with the more resources that I'll be bringing as a guest that can give out information that are useful, that are very beneficial for many youngsters in the community, for many parents. And I appreciate you take the time for you to come and speak to the community. Dr. Naini, you are a neuropsychologist and clinical psychology, the developmental neuropsychology and clinical psychology specialist. You're a doctor. That means you helped so many people. You do assessment, psychological assessment. But what we are focusing a lot today, I know there's tons of other subjects we could talk about with what's going on all over the world. But we have to emphasize in our youth and what's necessary for now, because we have our Haitian student and the Haitian parents who are not aware when their little youngsters are growing up and when they notice something extra special about that little one and they don't notice it, or they notice it, but they're not sure, what do I do about it? Or they tell the teacher, John is a little bit bored. He comes home after he's done, he reads a little bit, but he's still bored. He's a little bit hyper. But they don't know why, they don't understand what's going on. Just briefly, talk a little bit about you. How many kids you've helped over the years and the differences and the amount of our little Haitian kids that you help is not as significant compared to the amount of other kids of other nationalities that you've helped that are gifted. Give me the amount, then you can explain what is gifted. When a student is gifted, give the details for the listeners to understand.
Okay. First of all, it's my pleasure to be here. It's a wonderful show that I've been hearing as I'm sitting here, and it's my pleasure to be over here. As a psychologist and neuropsychologist, I see so many different people of all different types, so many different children. I try to see a lot of the international population as best as I can. But unfortunately, I do not see that many Haitian children. I try. I communicate with people such as yourself about the needs for it. I try to give talks in different preschools. But in Florida, at least in this part of Florida, unfortunately, there are not that many of the Haitian children who I see as a total. But every week I see many, many different children. This time of year, I see a lot of gifted children, a lot of children who hope to be in the gifted program, because what probably most people in your community are not aware of is that when you are in preschool, you can actually be tested to go into the gifted program for kindergarten. And that's the only people who are aware of that are people in certain different pre-kindergartens that are used to assessing for that, and other parents who are professionals in education maybe. But most of the people in the community are not aware of this until they actually enter school. My focus in general, as you well know, is with kids who have disabilities, who have genetic disorders, neurological disorders,
Kids who are autistic
children, learning disabilities, attention problems, reading problems, everything. This time of year, it is my pleasure to test all these young 4 or 5-year-olds to get into the gifted program in kindergarten, because it's a very refreshing change to see all these bright little children. And I can talk more about how to get into that.
Definitely. You mentioned this is an interview that I must go back and forth so people can understand what we are really talking about. I will do it differently. Typically, I would summarize after the interview is all done. But I want the parents to understand what you're talking about, how important it is for them. And you mentioned it yourself, that you have seen less Haitians youngsters than other nationalities when it's come to special gifted, students.
And that's one of the reasons why I said this would be great to come and talk to people so they're aware of the situation too if they have very bright youngsters.
Let me translate. Dr. Naini, c'est un psychologue, un neuropsychologue. C'est un médecin psychologue. Li traité, li ouais, ti moun qui gen problème disabilité. Li traité ti moun qui gen l'autre qualité problème psychologique. Li testé des ti moun et li aider. Mais ça qui est important, moi poser la question, li ouais en pile ti moun piti, li fait des tests pour ti moun sa yo, checker intelligence ti moun yo. Mais li dit majorité ti moun, le nombre de tests sa yo que le fait, si ti moun sa son ti moun nou ta dit qui très doué, qui gen don d'intelligence, si nous ta mette le comme ça, li pa gagné en pile ti haïtien que li fait test sa yo pour déterminer, surtout le ti moun yo lan kindergarten, yo pa l'entrée lan first grade, li pa gagné en pile ti haïtien et majorité moun comme si qu'elle ta ouais qui ti haïtien que le gen chance tester, ce sont des ti moun parents yo dans domaine éducation ou du moins et parents yo et l'on catégorie de monde l'on niveau professionnel qui très élevé et gagner dans ti moun yo très doué mais parents yo pas remarqué ça que ti moun yo très doué et il t'a remet que en pile ti moun haïtien en pile parents yo joue une opportunité pour yo connaître que si petit yo ça son ti moun qui très doué il de l'âge de 4 à 5 ans pour que le que li pralé dans l'école yo li capable entrer dans programme que yo relé dans district là programme gifted. Ça veut dire c'est ti moun qui beaucoup plus avancé que ti moun qui en classe normale yo. Donc c'est ça que li dit li t'a encouragé, c'est une raison qui fait que moi fait appel à lui-même pour venir expliquer avec parents yo parce que parents yo haïtien yo pas réaliser ça si que yo pas mentionné l'école là tellement grand pile ti moun yo pas pral pantan si que ti moun n'a pas nécessairement ça paraît clairement mais ou même comme parent ou capable checker ouais Jean petit ouanye ou trouver que l'intelligence li aller au-delà ou même ou capable intéressé pour que ou fait que yon médecin comme ça tester capacité intelligence petit tout pour que ti moun sa capable entrer lancer de programme côté que programme ça plus avancé le que li aller dans l'école yo. Go ahead. I explain pretty much in details.
Thank you. I'm sorry that that I can't speak fluently, but I'll try it in
Oh,
English.
no. That's my job. The Creole part is my job.
Okay.
You worry about the English part.
Okay. Something that most of your listeners may not be aware of is that the reason that I said I test a lot of international students at this time is because children who speak more than one language are most likely in the more intelligent range, because it's been shown in the research that there are only two things that can really increase your intelligence. One, okay.
Yon nan bagay ke Dr. Naini mentionné, li di ke li teste ti moun ki nan lot kategori, lot nation, ti moun tout lot nation, tout lot nationalité. Et li remarke ti moun sa yo ki parle lot langue, par exemple. Ti moun sa yo genyon intelligence ki beaucoup plus avancée. N'a produit encore. Ti moun international que n'a pas la notre nationalité que la parle yo, ti moun sa yo que le teste yo, n'a produit encore. Li pas testé suffisamment ti moun communauté haïtienne nou yo, li pas testé en pile, li pas joue en pile, et tandis que c'est sûr et certain gagner en pile ti moun dans communauté haïtienne nan que par yo gagner ti moun sa yo avancé et par yo pas réaliser que ti moun nan son ti moun avancé que lié, et tandis que le dit dans toute l'autre communauté yo li testé en pile ti moun sa yo. Ça veut dire parents sa yo connaît que ti moun yo montre des signes d'intelligence qui beaucoup plus avancés que yo prend temps pour que yo capable faire checker intelligence capacité ti moun nan pour que ti moun sa arrive rentrer dans programme côté que ti moun sa très doué, li beaucoup plus intelligent que district en relais gifted programme nan.
Okay. There are two things that can increase your intelligence according to all the scientific research. One is learning a second language, and two is learning to play a musical instrument. So children who speak more than one language are already better off from the beginning. For example, just this week, just out of just all the children that I test, it just happened that this week for the gifted testing, I just tested a child who speaks Polish and English. I tested another child who speaks Hindu and English. I tested another child who speaks Chinese and English. And they're all in the gifted range. So, and they far surpass, in my opinion, the skills of children who just have one language. Far surpass that.
Wow. Et Dr. Naini, par exemple, différentes nationalités et Timoun que li testé, Timoun qui sorti en Pologne, qui parlait langue ça, Timoun qui sorti en Inde, qui parlait langue indienne, non? Et Timoun qui sorti dans zone Chine, qui parlait langue chinois, et Timoun ça qui d'héritage et pays ça yo. Et li parlait de recherche scientifique confirmé que Timoun tout qui jouait instrument et il y a plus forte chance côté que capacité d'intelligence Timoun ça yo beaucoup plus élevée. But let's go back again. The age that you start these testing, you mentioned is 4 and 5 year old.
Yes, it's amazing here.
The reason is 4 and 5 year old. At that time, those 4 and 5 year old already knows their ABC. Is there a difference?
Well, what happens is the reason is every county in Florida is different. In Palm Beach County, we start gifted kindergarten. In Broward County, for example, it's 3rd grade. So in Palm Beach County, before you enter kindergarten, you can get assessed from starting in the January before you enter kindergarten. You can get assessed by a private psychologist like myself, and if you score in the high enough range and you meet the other characteristics, you can enter kindergarten. You do also have to know, you're right, the ABCs. You have to know general information that most children learn in a good pre-K and a good VPK program. We're very lucky in Florida because we have VPK programs. So everybody learns the alphabet and
so
math.
As they enter kindergarten, and
They're
from
already
kindergarten, they're already placed in the program.
They are placed usually at the end of, like in May, at the end of the school year. They have a meeting with the parents, and then they place them in the kindergarten. So that group is already starting ahead.
So kindergarten, that would be students like in elementary school.
Mm-hmm.
Kindergarten, yes. Like 1st grade, 2nd grade, 3rd grade,
yes.
and so forth.
Kindergarten here, usually you're 5 years old. Some of them, do you have to turn? I'm not exactly sure about the age.
With the age difference with how the district September, they have to be a certain age, the cutoff date.
But everybody here knows you have to sign up. You go to kindergarten roundup and all that to get your child into kindergarten.
OK. Docteur Naini est précisé pour dire que kindergarten, c'est monde qui commence là, sorti en bon preschool, VPK, yo sorti dans l'école Gadrio et l'école preschool yo. Et ti moun de 4 à 5 ans qui peuvent commencer kindergarten, c'est depuis là yo placé ti moun nan dans programme gifted là qui c'est partie élémentaire ti moun qui commence de kindergarten et jusqu'à is it until like 5th grade?
Gifted lasts until the end of middle school.
Okay.
So you can be assessed anytime. It's just that I suggest in Palm Beach County that you get tested early because that lets you start in the program with the other accelerated children.
And it becomes more challenging for the child.
Exactly.
And they get
it's
smarter.
More challenging,
okay.
So you start getting used to it. If you start in the middle, it's still good to transfer, but you just have a better start if you're already in the gifted program.
OK. Moi, je demande, Dr. Naini, est-ce que jusqu'à qui grade ça arrive? Il dit non, ça arrive jusqu'à middle school. Là, au moment middle school, 6e grade, tout ça. Mais le mieux, si que tu m'as testé, depuis là, elle commencer kindergarten, il a testé, ça fait que elle est venu habitué avec type de programme que programme gifted là, ti moun qui gen don yo, ti moun qui plus avancé yo, en capacité intelligence yo, et li mieux et la façon ça. Let me quickly give the listeners a chance if there's questions before I ask all my questions like crazy. Si nous avons une question et pour Dr. Naini, nous te mettre les poser si nous parlons anglais, nous parlons anglais normalement ou du moins m'a traduit et question n'importe parent qu'attendez et ou t'as me posons question à Dr. Naini ou me téléphoner 561 734 13 40. N'importe question que lien à propos de Timoun qui gagne don d'intelligence plus avancé côté que Timoun ça l'industrie yo sélectionné en série de l'école qui gagne programme ça yo même côté que yo mettez Timoun yo dans des classes plus avancées que l'autre Timoun qui en classe régulier et Timoun ça gagne plus challenge et yo bayo des matières qui plus élevées parce que intelligence yo plus. Et Dr. Naini expliquait que li remarqué en pile ti moun sa yo, c'est ti moun qui sorti l'autre côté yo, l'autre qui gagne l'autre nationalité, ti moun de l'autre parent et ti moun qui parle l'autre langue tout et pas seulement anglais et mais ti moun qui joue instrument tout, li remarqué dans ti moun sa yo et capacité d'intelligence yo est beaucoup plus élevée et toujours. You mentioned you also help children that are autistic. I know we do have Haitians in our community that they have autistic children, which in Haiti, it's not well received in Haiti.
Here it's such an open diagnosis now, meaning that nobody is ashamed. They used to be ashamed.
Yeah, in Haiti, there's a shame about it, and some of these parents won't even. Many of them, they don't take those kids out, and they let them, stay in the home with somebody who's taking care of them. They don't want anybody to know, that they have a kid who's like that. Na parlé de ti moun ki autistic yo, autistic. They can't speak much, and
it depends. It's a spectrum. Autism is a spectrum. Is a spectrum disorder, like everything is. Even being gifted, you're not gifted in everything. You're gifted in some things. Although some people may be gifted in everything. But autism, in general, is difficulty with reciprocal social interaction. So the give and take between people. So although you might be high-functioning autism, meaning you're fine in classes and academics, you still do not communicate the way everyone else does with a give and take.
Et ti moun ki artistique, c'est ti moun qui a difficulté pour communiquer socialement avec des moun et puis yo doit académiquement yo fonctionner normalement, mais yo une série de problèmes de comportement, de émotifs avec interaction avec moun tout ça. Malheureusement là nous rivé, nous pas temps prend question parce qu'il faut que nous connaissions comment autoroute là est. C'est passé rapidement avec information yo. And we are out of time. That's how it is.
I was going to say I could go on and on about autism. That's a different subject.
That's a different subject, but I wanted you to talk a little bit about it. But I know the parents are listening. Is there any a phone number where people can call you for more questions about gifted students, if they want to get their kids tested, if you can help them, if you could analyze, assess, do whatever, especially the little ones, if they start very young, or even the ones that have not gotten tested, but they never realized that they can get tested in order to be in different program.
Right. Yes. Everyone can reach me at 561-654-4311. That's 561-654-4311. You can text or you can call and leave a message. And you can also email me at jfnaini@yahoo.com. And so it's, should I spell it out?
I got it.
jfnaini@yahoo.com. The other thing I was going to say about gifted before I go is one important thing to realize. Why does someone want to go into gifted classes? The reason is it's similar to getting a private school education that here in South Florida is about $20,000 a year. When you're in gifted classes, you are very special because it means that you are at the top. You're at the top 2% of the population, and you can advance in different ways. You can learn through projects. You can learn through different means than just the average child. So it's a great opportunity for everyone.
Et Dr. Naini a ajouté pour le dire son opportunité liée et là que au petit mono qui l'a un programme gifted parce que le ça petit mono c'est comme si c'était dans l'école privée, il était beaucoup plus avancé, 2% de petit mono ça yo gagne d'autres matières que yo fait, yo gagne des projets que yo fait, donc ça stimule l'intelligence beaucoup plus, nous capable aider dans 561 654 43 11 561 654 43 11 et email c'est jfnaini@yahoo.com. J comme Jean, fnaini@yahoo.com. Thank you so much, Dr. Naini. Come back again.
It's my pleasure.